and of the people who are imprisoned, they are disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native Americans. We understand increasingly all across this country that the so-called war on drugs has been an abysmal failure which has ruined many, many lives. And instead of arresting and giving criminal records to people who possess marijuana, maybe we should have given criminal records to the crooks on Wall Street who destroyed our economy. Now, Trump and his friends think they can win votes by attacking minorities, by attacking people who have very little power. And they've gone to war against undocumented people in this country. But the American people believe something very, very different than Trump believes. 80% of the American people believe that the almost 2 million people in or eligible for the DACA program should have legal protection. And the American people believe that instead of demonizing people who came to this country because they wanted the opportunity to provide at least a minimal standard of living or to escape from countries where drug cartels were killing people, instead of demonizing those people, we have got to move to comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. I say to the people of Michigan, and I'm talking now to the people who voted for Trump, mark my words. If the Republicans gain control over the House and the Senate, forget the words that came out of Trump's mouth. They're not worth anything. Please understand that if they control the House and the Senate, after giving $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%, they are going to come back and cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I have not the slightest doubt, and in fact, to his credit, Mitch McConnell made that very clear just the other day. But I say to the senior citizens of this state and this country, some of whom are trying to survive on $12,000, $14,000 a year on Social Security, some of whom are cutting their prescription drugs in half, their pills in half, because they cannot afford the outrageous price of medicine in this country that the pharmaceutical industry is charging us. I say that the time now is not to cut Social Security. The time is now to expand and extend Social Security. This is the United States of America. We should not be having the kind of grotesque and immoral income and wealth inequality that we currently have. We should not be living in a nation where 3 of the wealthiest people own more wealth than the bottom half of the American people. Where the top 1/10 of 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90%, where over 40% of new income generated today is going to the top 1%. And by the way, as you well know, very few states in this country have been harder hit by the economic decline of the middle class than the state of Michigan. That's a fact. We are living in a nation today where 40 million people are living in poverty, 30 million people have no health care, and even more are underinsured. We are living in a nation where hundreds of thousands of bright young kids cannot afford to go to college, and many of you are going to leave school with crippling debt. And that is why together we are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. This campaign that is being waged here in Michigan and all over this country is not just a campaign of economics. It's not just a campaign of health care or education or the environment. It is very much a campaign having to do with values, who we are as Americans. Whether we are comfortable with a president who is attempting to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born, or whether we are going to have political leadership here in Michigan and all across this country that understands that we are one nation, one people, regardless of the color of our skin or our sexual orientation. It is a hackneyed phrase and too often used phrase to say that the coming election is the most important election. But honest to God, I believe that this coming midterm election is the most important midterm election in the modern history of our country. It is an election about whether we have government that represents all the people or just the few. It is an election in which we elect people who bring us together, not divide us up. It is an election which says to the President of the United States, we will not accept somebody who is a pathological liar. So this election is of enormous importance. And let me just tell you this. On election night, if you turn on the TV and the commentator there tells you that it looks like all across this country voter turnout is low, young people are not voting, you could turn off the television. Because I will tell you with an absolute certainty that if the turnout is low, Gretchen, wherever she is, where is she? Okay, there she is. She's going to lose, and your great lieutenant governor candidate is going to lose as well. Turn off the TV. If the voter turnout is low, they lose. But if that commentator says, hey, something is going on in Michigan and Vermont and around the country, and voter turnout is high, say hello to your next governor and lieutenant governor. As all of you know, incredibly brave people throughout our country's history have fought and died to protect democracy and our way of life. and our way of life, the essence of our way of life, and what democracy is about, is that we vote and hold accountable the people we elect. Do not turn your back on those heroes and heroines who have died to defend democracy. You have a moral responsibility to participate in the democratic way of life. You have got to come out and vote on November 6th, and please do everything that you can to bring out as many people as possible. Thank you all very much.